It's day 5 of spring and we are greeted with this glorious sunrise. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Fendt Farm here on GreenRiver. Now before we do anything else, we have to feed and water our animals again today. So I'm going to very quickly open up this container, or this door here. We're going to jump into our little 800 favourite. And I need to drop the weight off so I can connect up to the water trailer. There we go. Ooh, we're almost out of water. Let's go collect some more. I do love the fact we can see these 2 lanes of traffic like that. That's pretty cool. Oh, bit of a bump there. And you know what? I think we'll go in through these gates here today. We haven't used these gates on our farm yet. That's a lot of water. It's going to be way more than we need for a very long time, but it'll keep us going. You see the tractor really struggling under the weight of this trailer. There we go, we're in. There we go. So the plan today is to, once we've dealt with the animals, is to cultivate and then plant corn on those 2 fields that we ploughed last time out, so that we can start getting our chaffing operation underway. Now, if I remember rightly, I've got to get really, really close up against this trough. Yeah, still not. There we go. Just got the tip icon just there. Let's take a look. Going to need a bale. You can see the weather icon is predicting snow. Now, we've seen this in the past on our geos, where we'll be sort of in a different season outside of winter and it'll suddenly predict snow and then it'll change at the last second to rain. Kind of hoping that's going to be the case again today. It'd be a bit odd to get, you know, some snow here, especially looking at the temperature of 8 degrees. I think that's a bit too warm for us to have to worry about snow. Let's get the Juno restarted. My guidelines, yep, that looks nice and straight. There we go. So we're going to need to grab a bale as well, because we don't have enough food to keep them going for a long period of time. Oops, I was hopeful that I wasn't going to do that. Never mind. Just crashed on the way in. And again, I can't see. There we go. I thought I was further over than that. Just straighten the trailer up. That's close enough. Right. Let's get the weight back on. And let's go grab a bale. So all of our bales that we have in storage are inside this room here. It's a little tight, but you can see that we do still have, quite a few bales in here. We're only going to need the one, I think, so I've got to be really careful to only take one. I'm going to need to switch. There we go. I need to be really careful not to get too close that I end up taking too many bales. There we go. That's it. Let's close the door up again. There we go. Nice, serene, gentle start to our day today. A little bit of pootling around the yard. And there we go, nicely fed. That'll keep them going for quite some time, as you can see. They are producing some wool and they are breeding. We're getting a sheep every sort of 12 hours or so, 12, 13 hours. And there you can see we've actually got some pallets starting to stack up. Oh, we've got more than I thought. Might need to break out the forklift later and start clearing some of those away. We haven't seen that yet, but it is hiding away on the farm. Just in one of the rooms, just past the bales, that sort of corner of the building. There we go. Right. So we're done here. So if we take a look at our map, you can see that we have these two fields here, the last two fields that we need to do work on. Now, we ploughed them out, but we haven't cultivated them yet. We're going to cultivate them, and I'm going to give the Joker another try. We've had some real issues with the stability of our 939 with that thing. And I was having a look. A lot of people in the comments have suggested maybe trying wheel weights. We're going to do that. I'm going to fit some wheel weights to the 939, but also the Joker is compatible with the Agco 1100 and the SB1000 weights as well. So we're going to try hooking up one of those weights on the rear as well as the wheel weights and see if the combination of the pair of those gives us a much more stable rear end when we're using the Joker. The risk is that we put too much weight on the back and we end up raising the front of the tractor off the ground and lose steering control. I hope that's not going to be the case, but I guess we'll find out. There we go. So the weight is waiting for us down at the store. We have to go and collect that, and also we're going to do some mechanical work in the workshop down at the store as well to switch those wheels over, put the wheel weights on. So I'll just get parked up in our dedicated parking bay there, make our way over, and I'm going to take the Joker down with me as well, so we can immediately see if there's a performance improvement, and if there isn't, we'll get rid of the Joker and we'll look to replace it with a different cultivator, probably the Lemken. So let's get connected. There we go. Actually running a little bit low on fuel as well. Probably going to have to top that up later. Now the Joker's absolutely perfectly behaved, or at least it seems to be, when it's folded up like this. I haven't seen any real issues, but it's when it gets unfolded and sort of starts digging into the ground, that's when we start getting those issues. Okay, so we are here at the store. So the first thing is the weight. This is the Agco weight, just here. And this is supposed to, work quite nicely with this cultivator, although I get the feeling that's suggesting at the front rather than at the rear. That doesn't seem to have actually done us any favours whatsoever at all. We can't connect, so that's no good. Yeah, we just can't connect. So the weight is a bit of a busted flush. We will try with the wheel weights. I would rather stick with the horse Joker if I can, but if it gets to the point where it just becomes too unpredictable and too unusable, then there comes a time when you have to choose, function over form. So let's pop into the warehouse. We're going to switch out our standard wheels and put some wheel weights on instead. Do a little bit of tinkering. So we want wheel weights. There we go. These big imposing rims now. So hopefully this will give us the weight that we need to stay nice and stable once this cultivator is kind of opened up. Let's take it to the first field and find out. And here is the first of our two fields. This is field 18. Our other field, field 27, is a little bit further down on the map, as you can see. We'll start with this one here, just simply because this is the closest, and we'll see just how much of an improvement these wheel weights are going to make. I'm hoping quite a nice improvement. Like I said, I really would like to stick with this cultivator if I can, but if it proves to be too awkward, then I will end up replacing it. So far though, seems to be okay. And I do think I might have to do a little bit of a border pass around the field. For now, I'm just going to run up this edge here. So we have a nice, clean, smooth line for us to work from when we start running up and down the field. And then from there, I'm going to turn and I'm going to go along the top, loop around that side piece, go down the bottom, along the bottom there, and then back up on this side again. And so do a complete lap of the field. We just need the turning room because we don't have any. We're so close to the trees at the edges of the fields that, yeah, we definitely kind of need to put some kind of boundary, marker in. There we go. So that worked quite nicely. Problem was always when we had these tight turns, and then when we straightened out, it would pitch quite violently, and it seems to be a lot better behaved with these wheel weights, so I think we're actually okay. I don't think we need to do any replacing. And that's the border almost done. And as I say, this Joker has been really well behaved today since we put these wheel weights on. So I think the wheel weights have done the trick. I was worried that that wouldn't be enough weight and that we would need to sort of double up a weight on the rear attacher as well. But as I say, everything has been really smooth so far. I mean, we haven't done these sort of 180-degree turns yet, so we haven't had a proper test. I'm hoping that we're actually going to get that right now with this, as we run up the field here, and then when we turn at the top and then start heading back down again, that I think is going to be the real test of just how much better this thing is and how much more stable it is. But so far we've been doing really well, and we've got a border all the way around this field now, so we should be able to run up and down and make our turns quite easily, not catching any trees or getting in the way of the road and traffic. So we can, you know, just whiz through getting this field done, head on over to field 27, do the same on there, and once that's done, then we can start cultivating, start seeding, getting that corn into the ground, and I think then we will be pretty much ready to go once everything's grown. We do need to do some fertilizing as well. As you saw as we drive around, some of our fields are already growing, and we are going to need to start spraying those as well. We do have the Leeb sort of waiting for us, so it'd be good to get that out of the way and use a self-propelled sprayer. Don't use those things very often, and yeah, look at that, so much more controlled, making that kind of swing around there. So I think these wheel weights have definitely fixed the problems that we were having. We've been working our way through this field really quickly and efficiently today. Absolutely minimal drama whatsoever. You know, this cultivator's been really well behaved. It looks as though we're going to be sticking with the Joker as a result. You know, these wheel weights have made a huge difference. We still get a little bit of slide if we're not too careful, if we're overly aggressive with the turns, but it's a lot better, a lot more controlled. It's nowhere near as vicious and severe as it was, and you know, as I say, you know, this has been a really hassle-free sort of cultivating experience today. So a big thank you to everyone who was suggesting wheel weights in the comments. It was something I was thinking about trying, but honestly didn't hold too much hope that we would get a massive improvement. I felt it just wouldn't be enough weight, but I've been proved wrong in that respect, and I don't know if I would have actually tried it out had so many people had you guys not all sort of jumped in and said, you know, try the wheel weights. There was enough people there saying that it would work to kind of give me the impetus I needed to actually put them on and try them. And as you can see, you know, we're making great time through this. I'm not having to really faff around with each turn, and the main bulk of this field is done now. We've just got that little corner piece left. So after this we'll move on to field 27. We'll get that one done. That shouldn't take very long either, and then we can actually get the seeder out. We can start putting our corn into the field, and then we'll also go around and do some fertilizing as well. I may even do the fertilising first. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how I feel once I've got field 27 done, as to whether I want to do some fertilising first or whether I want to do this. But you can see this colour just sort of sweeping out across here as well. Sometimes I do appreciate just regular default crop textures instead of having lots of custom textures. I mean, just to see that sea of yellow there from all these flowering oilseed rape fields, or canola fields, depending on what you want to call them. We call them rape fields here in the UK. It reminds me of my childhood when I used to drive through the countryside to go and visit my grandparents, and just seeing all these sort of fields through the countryside around where I lived. Of course, my dad would always roll the windows up immediately we got anywhere near them, because they used to stink, apparently. I've always had an incredibly bad sense of smell, so I've never really noticed things like that. But yeah, it used to apparently stink to high heaven driving past those fields. Apparently OSR has quite a pungent aroma. Right, here we are then on field 27. We'll get this one cultivated as quick as we can as well. We'll get this fiddly little shorter section out of the way first, and then we'll get onto the long section and you know, get this done as quickly and efficiently as we possibly can. Ugh, just listen to that wonderful birdsong sound effect. Whenever you get past certain sort of patches of trees on this map, you get this wonderful birdsong just chirp in, and it's just beautiful to listen to. Let's see if we get it again as we head back past those trees on the next pass, which I think will be the final pass. Actually, we're pretty much done with this field now. Lift. There we go. So yeah, we'll easily get this field done on this pass. Let's just see as we get past these trees again. Let's see if we get that bird song again. So this area coming up. It's so nice to just get random little sound effects pop in like that, and you get these birdsong sounds pop in just various different places around the map. There's quite a few of them dotted around. I don't know where they all are off by heart, but there are some over sort of around the edges of field 25 or 24. I forget which side it is. It might be between the two fields. It might be just down the right hand side of field 24, but there's birdsong around that area as well. As I say, it's really nice when you're just driving along. You just hear this sudden really loud burst of birdsong chirping through. There we go, our cultivating is done. We need to clean it and put it away. You can see we also need to fill up our fuel level because we're at just 67 litres left. And then from there we're going to actually do a little bit of fertilising next. We're going to break out the Leeb before the weather turns too horrible. Let's get the beacons on. Increase cruise control back up to 30. There we go. And I'll see you back at the farm. So we've parked up the 939. We'll clean that up and then put everything else away a little bit later. But for now, as I say, I want to get this Leeb up and running. This is a really, really nice piece of kit. Really nice interior as well. All these switches and control implements. Really very nice in here. And I don't get to use these self-propelled sprayers that often, so it is always nice to have something a little bit different to play about with. So we need to fill this up. There we go. Let's open up the help window as well, see if there's any special controls we need to be wary of. Nothing on L1, nothing on R1, nothing on the two together. So it's pretty much as you see it. We've got this nice four-wheel steering. Everything will open out. Maybe we'll see some controls once we've unfolded it, but I don't think we will somehow. Let's get the beacon on. Just the one beacon on the front. indicators mounted on the wheels and the side frames below the cab. Oops. And we're going to go out and start spraying those fields that we planted right at the beginning of spring. You see a lot of them are getting various different crop textures popping up. So we have, I'm trying to remember what we planted on here, that's canola, isn't it? Which is doubling as triticale for us. This is wheat, I think, and then barley on the next field, or maybe the other way around. I can't remember, if I'm completely honest. Yes, so wheat here, and then barley on 24, and then we've got our canola fields just here. The beets may not need spraying yet. We'll have a look. But all of these fields should be at stage 1. There we go, as you can see, thanks to the fertilisation as they were seeded. Now it's time to get them up to stage 2. So let's get this thing unfolded. I love the way the wheels just sort of pop out automatically. You see the hooks there being unturned before everything can finally sort of stretch out. There we go, and now we can see we have some control. So we have height control on the boom, and that's it, just the height control. So most of the sort of functions that we see on other things is already built into this, and all we need to do is basically just play about with the height settings of the boom itself, the spraying arms. That looks to be about right. So let's jump back into the cab. In fact, let's also turn off that help window. There we go. I'm going to try and pick a spot that looks like a straight line and then just follow it. We can kind of see the soil textures sticking up through the crop there. So I'm sort of trying to centre the nose on a line that is appearing in front of me. It seems to be working so far. You can see how squat and wide this thing looks once it's unfolded and those legs, you know, the wheels kind of stretch out a little bit. It suddenly really changes the whole profile of this piece of equipment. It kind of hunkers down. Whereas, you know, when it's just in standard sort of transport mode, those wheels are a lot closer together. So the machine, you know, doesn't feel quite so squat and so wide. Plus, you know, it sits taller because the arms are all folded up on top rather than sort of hanging off at the back like that. It completely changes the profile of this piece of equipment. Really does make it feel very, very different. Just realised I've got the beacon on, we don't need that on anymore. We'll turn that off. This is a really nice experience just driving this thing. And we've got really good visibility around sort of 3/4 of the vehicle, and then obviously we've got the tank behind us, which kind of spoils that a little bit. But you know, in cab it's quite a nice place to be as well. But obviously I tend to do a lot of my stuff sort of in third person, just so I can keep an eye on exactly what's going on. Oops, making a bit of a mess of this corner. There we go. So once again, let's see if we can line up, get a nice smooth edge. right on the edge there. I need to kind of just drift over ever so slightly. There we go, that should do it. There is my kind of centre line I'm trying to kind of follow. It's hard to see some of the, as I say, the soil textures. I really do hope we get improved textures. And there's that bird song again, look. So relaxing. This thing just has this kind of quiet whirring to it. The bird song. The nice, serene, gentle pace of the speed, 7 miles an hour. This is really relaxing and just such a nice, beautiful landscape to look out. Yes, it's kind of flat, but there's a lot of vibrancy. There's a lot of life. There's a lot of colour. We've got these wonderful kind of different types of trees. We've got bushes. You can see a lot of sort of movement around with a lot of traffic. And just that huge, great big slab of yellow there in the middle, just completely dominating that part of the map. It adds this huge block of colour. And then the sort of, depending on how you pivot the camera angle, if you can just kind of look at it there, you can see we've got this sort of river that runs down the middle, where the map gets its name from. It's a really pretty little experience. It's a really serene, calming experience as well. I just love this map, I really do. I'm so glad that we're actually doing a series on it. Oh, and I think, yes, look, the light's just gone on. The weather's about to change. I thought it was getting a little cloudy, and you can see that street light's come on, which means it's about to get dark. The snow slash hail slash sleet slash rain, whatever we're going to get, is about to start. It's starting to get really dark now, and really quickly as well. You get that kind of period where it's kind of just gradually gets a little bit sort of grayer and grayer, and then all of a sudden it just gets really dark really quickly. And you can see all that colour is just leaching away out of the sky now. Just this final pass to go, and then this field is done. Just look at how little we can actually see now. I mean, this place was so bright and vibrant just a couple of minutes ago, and now look at it. And there we go. We're getting hail by the look of it. Just so overcast and miserable now. It's a completely different landscape because of that change in the weather. Obviously we have a little bit of light on our vehicle. If we turn our main lights off, you can see there's some light shining and reflecting on our vehicle from sort of the front area there, but it's a cold light now. There's no warmth to it at all. All that life and vibrancy and brightness that we had when we started this field, completely gone. So the barley field is coming along quite nicely. As you can see, we're making some pretty good progress. The wheat's all done. After this, we've got 2 more canola fields to do as well, and then we will definitely have to get our seeding done after this, but the spraying isn't taking that long at all, so that's kind of helpful. We do kind of really need to weed our grass fields again as well, but we'll probably end up doing that tomorrow, I think, rather than today. We're just not going to have the time to run around with a small weeder on a large grass field, as well as getting all of our seeding done, and the seeding has to take the priority. We need to get that planted as quick as we can so that grows faster. We wait until tomorrow, then obviously we're losing another day on our sort of planting window for corn. So Going to carry on, as you can see, just sort of running up and down these fields in our Leeb. Get all of these sprayed up to stage 2, and then we'll switch back to the 939, take that out and plant some corn on fields 18 and 27. I'm not sure, but I think the weather is starting to ease off a little bit. It does seem as though we're getting a lot less hail appearing on the screen. Yeah, it is. It is. Look, it's stopping. There we go. So it didn't last very long, that hailstorm. Just an hour or two. I think only even an hour. And now the skies are going to start to clear up again. Already you can see there's quite a bit of blue back in the sky. Hearing that bird song again as we get close to those trees. It's amazing how quickly it can brighten up again as soon as that sort of bad weather stops. Take the lights off now. Just got that one thin strip left on this field. You can see it's not a particularly wide strip either, so we are going to end up wasting a little bit of fertiliser to do that bit there, but not a lot we can do about that given the size and shape of the field. I mean, in theory we could perhaps, widen it a little bit on either side, but I kind of like the size and shape of this field. I don't think we need to change anything about it too much, so we'll just end up losing a little bit of spray. We'll only be sort of using half of it. This is why I think it would be great in Farming Sim 19 if we could actually control the booms independently, so we could actually only turn on just the one boom here. Look, just turn on that left boom rather than having both of them switched on. Because then we could actually cover the field quite nicely. Look. I wasn't even paying attention and emptied the spray tank there, just burning through that fertilizer really quickly. I had absolutely no idea that we'd used it all up. I was just kind of absorbed in how vibrant the area had become again now that the sun was back out, and how relaxing and just tranquil everything seemed. So definitely need to kind of get this filled up again and then back out onto the field. We've done a good 2/3 of that canola field just the other side of this fence, and then obviously we've got that canola field along the back there behind the sort of tool shed and the community area. You can just see the line of trees that mark the edge of that field. That's the next target. So let's get back onto the field. I'm going to, instead of going all the way around, just going to nip back in through here. So I've got to figure out where it was I got to now. Somewhere along here. There we go. There's our end point just there. So we'll get unfolded and pick up where we left off. I was wondering whether or not our community area would have run out of water by now, but it does still seem to be going. As you can see, we've got plants growing inside those greenhouses, so they haven't run out of water yet, but they must be getting low. So that's something else we'll have to do tomorrow as well, is make sure that those all get topped up. Last thing we want is for those to kind of just run out of water and stop producing for us. Again, we've got around about 2,700 in income overnight when we hit midnight. So they're producing a nice little bit of cash, not too much, not too little, and covering about half the costs of our daily vehicle maintenance, which is nice. And as we come to the end of this field, this is it for the rest of our spraying today. We will spray our beets tomorrow, so we have something to do tomorrow. There we go, so let's get folded up. That's really cool to watch the animation happening out through the back window. And you can just see the wheels moving in as well. So that's really nice. So yeah, all of our crop fields are now sprayed. You know, in terms of grain crops, you can see our beets have started growing. We'll spray those tomorrow once we've done the grass weeding. Oh, look, I've completely forgot. We still left the stump grinder up here. We'll have to get that returned. We're paying for that at the moment because that's on a lease. So every day that we own that, we pay a little bit more in terms of daily lease costs. I have to make sure I remember to return that a little bit later. So now we're going to head back to the farm and we're going to switch out the Joker for the Maestro. We're going to go and seed those cornfields, and you can see that the weather symbol has changed again and we've got rain coming now. So this geo is definitely living up to its name as a wet weather geo. Not only have we had hail today, we've now got rain due in the forecast for a little bit later as well. It just never wants to stop, does it? And there you can see the Joker waiting to be cleaned before it gets put away. Let's see if we can back in here in first person. Not yet. I think we're straight. Oh, a little close to the wall there. Doesn't help when the mirrors go black, so I can't actually see out of them. And there we go, that's about as far in as we can go. So engine off, jump out. Had some good fun with that thing today, and like I say, we'll break that out again tomorrow so we can do our beet field. We may even get the chance to do our cornfield tomorrow as well. Let's give this a quick wash down. I left the beacons on as well. Ooh, that's careless. Should have turned those off. But glad that we've been able to keep hold of this thing. You know, it is something different. We don't really tend to use a lot of the horse gear outside of the seeders ever, you know, in terms of like cultivating gear or anything like that. So it's kind of nice that we're able to kind of play with some different equipment this time out. There we go, beacons are off now. So let's go and back this into its... Oh, I need to refuel as well. I've just realised that we haven't done that yet. There we go. We do have a workshop up here as well, I think, actually. So what I might well do is... I'm playing around with the T7, sorry, the T8 on Seasons in the Valley with wheel configurations, and I've been doing some seeding with twin wheels, and I really like the look. And so we're going to do that here as well. We're going to switch over to twin wheels on the 939. I might have to take a bit of cash out to be able to pay for them, but we should be able to get back out again, I think, with twin wheels fixed. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. Apparently we are not in the right position to customize. Do we have to be outside? Sometimes the bays are outside. No, we have to be inside, so maybe we just need to be further back. Let's try that again. Let's go to here. Yeah, there we go. Right, so I want to put on twin wheels. I need 6,000 for that, so I'm going to have to take out another 10 grand to cover that. We've only got a 50,000 euro loan at the moment, so money is not an issue. There we go. Let's move away from the symbol, and so we can go back to it, and let's put on twin wheels. And there we go. This thing just looks so much more in twins. And we should be able to squeeze out of here. Yes. Oh, just got caught. There we go. It's a very tight fit, but it is doable, as you can see. So we'll close up the workshop there. Make our way to the fuel tank. And while it's refueling, there's that twin wheel look. It's just, yeah, it looks so much more aggressive with the twin wheel, so much wider, so much bigger and more powerful. Even though we've done nothing to the engine, it just kind of, to me, it has that more powerful look with the twin wheels. It's just the way my brain interprets that visual look of those twin wheels there. So we'll get this refueled, and then we'll hook up to the Maestro, and then we'll make our way over and start seeding. So here we are then. We're going to have to do a border around the edge, as we always do with these fields, simply because of the way they're shaped and how awkward they are. But it's a 12-metre seeder, so this should be a relatively quick process, just like the cultivating was. That didn't take us too long to burn through the two fields. And this is the same working width, and it's also perhaps a little bit easier for us to manoeuvre around a bit as well. So as I say, this should be a reasonably quick process. It's 4:15, as you can see, but this shouldn't take us more than 2 or 3 hours to get both fields done, I wouldn't have thought. So let's press on, get these two fields seeded with corn, and then we can start our chaffing adventure in a couple of months once it gets to the right height. Of course, if we're going to be chaffing this, we don't have to wait for this corn to reach 100% growth either. I believe that once it hits 50%, it'll then be ready to be chaffed. So that's going to help cut down on sort of time that we have to wait for this as well. You know, regular sort of farming sim gameplay, it can be the final growth stage. In this, I think 50% is all we need to get to in terms of growth height, and then it's enough for us to chaff it. Oh, we've still got the cover up, haven't we? Let's close that down. And off we go again. It turns out I actually forgot to to cultivate this section of the field, this corner section. I could have sworn I'd done that. I just must have had a bit of a brain fart there and just completely forgotten all about this bit here. I wonder why I went from this corner section straight to the other field. I don't even remember not doing this bit. But there we go. So as much as I don't like sort of seeding on ploughed furrows without a direct drill seeder, we will for this field, just because it's going to eat up too much time just to go back, just to get a cultivator for this small patch just here. So we'll just have to treat that as though it has already been cultivated. But you know, normally I wouldn't do that normally. There are the odd exception moments, but in this case, yeah, I just completely forgot that this whole corner section here needed to be cultivated. Well, we even talked about that was all that needed to be done on this field, and then I think from saying that, I then just drove off straight to field 27. I really don't quite understand how that happened, but nevertheless, that is what it is. We've run out of seed. Haven't quite finished that field yet, but almost. So bringing the seed truck back over to top that up. There you can see, parked up, ready and waiting, with the cover raised. So let's unfold. Let's check which of these is going to be the one that's default in use. That should be the seed. Yeah, you can see the seed drawer is raised there. That's good. So let's top this back up on seed. There we go. And what we'll also do is we'll top up the fertilizer as well, seeing as we're running a little bit low and we do still have some left. Oh wow, look, I forgot we could actually tip that as well. Oh, that's pretty awesome. I've forgotten all about that animation. There we go. Switch the belts over. Drop the fertilizer in. Excellent stuff. So, let's move this off the field. We'll keep this parked up because no doubt we'll need to top this up again once we get onto the next field. And let's continue seeding away and get this field finished. It's just one pass left to do and a couple of tiny little corrections that need to be made. There's one behind us actually, we'll do that first. See just there where I was a little bit offline on my previous pass. I'll just quickly tag that, and then it's just, hey, that's one single pass that runs up the side of the field. I think that's all that's left. That corner section's already been done, so yeah, nearly done here. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would actually. Running at 9 miles an hour here. We might even have to do 2 passes here. I don't know if I can quite squeeze this all into one, but we'll see how well we can do. It's getting hard to see as well because of the light. I think we're just about catching everything here. Look, yeah, we are just. So as soon as we get this done, we'll move over to field 27. We'll get that field done as well, and then that's us done for the day. Okay, that's the first half of this field done. That's the awkward section. So now if we move our way back up to the top and go from the other side of where we started, we've got a nice, simple, straightforward up and down bit left to do, which shouldn't take too long at all. So we're very nearly done for the day. And you can see, even though it's now almost 8 o'clock, you know, because we're approaching summer, the days are getting longer and staying lighter for longer as well, so still very, very bright. Just see the very faint beginnings of a sunset. Let's just get lined up here. There we go. So you can just see the very faint beginnings of a sunset over here. Those clouds starting to just change colour ever so slightly, and there is that kind of glow there that indicates that the sun is starting to set. But it's 8 o'clock, as you can see. So the daylight is getting, you know, longer and longer. It won't be long now, though, until the sun actually goes completely. In fact, you can see just as we're talking, it's actually, you know, starting to get quite more, you know, quite vivid over there, you know, quite quickly. So we're right on the cusp of the end of sort of proper daylight hours now. And that rain still hasn't turned up yet, so I don't think it's going to rain until very late tonight now. The rain symbol still hasn't even taken over as the dominant symbol yet, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't see the rain tonight. Now it's getting dark enough that we actually need to start putting lights on just to get a clearer view of the ground in front of us. You can see it's starting to get quite dark now. Shadows are starting to get a little bit more pronounced, and that sun really starting to blaze quite vividly as the sun sets now on that side. Not long to go and it'll be disappearing off the screen completely. But we haven't got long to go on this field either. We're almost done for the day. Oh, we're out of seed. Gonna have to call for the truck again. Alright, so where is the truck? There it is. Luckily it's only just around the corner, it's not going to take us very long to get there at all. Indicating just a little bit early there. This is our turn off just here. And there is our target. So once again, let's unfold. You can see that the seed drawer is open at the moment. We need to change that. There we go. Sorry, the fertilizer drawer is open. We've changed to seed. We are on the wrong side. Go, and let's tilt as well. You see the sunlight just giving that really warm glow on the side of our vehicles and equipment here. Excellent stuff. So the truck is now kind of done its job for the day. We'll park it up just here and we'll take it back at the end of the night. And just this last couple of passes left on this field to go. And now we're on the final pass. You can see in areas it does almost look like the sky's on fire because of this sunset, but you do get some truly vivid kind of little flows of colour around the map at this time of night. You see where the blues and the purples and the oranges all kind of intersect, and you get these really kind of intense little scenes here, and the light sort of reflecting off the water at that angle as well. Does end up giving you some very, very pretty moments, this game. But there we go, we are done. And the weather has just changed. Do you see that? We saw the sun symbol disappear. So maybe the rain will start coming pretty soon. But we are done for the day, so we're not going to be affected by it in the slightest. We've achieved quite a bit today. We've cultivated and seeded our 2 cornfields. We've also fertilised all of our crop fields as well. Definitely got a lot done, and tomorrow we've still got some stuff to get done as well before summer hits. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Fendt Farm here on GreenRiver very soon.